Hello. This is my show, Josiane, Persons of Interest.
Yes, hello, Josiane.
Paul Craffey, a.k.a. Paul Lesart. Danny Darrow, welcome to my show.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having us here.
To have you both.
Thank you, thank you.
You are a actor, singer, model. Is there anything else you do?
I've done a lot of things, Josie.
Welcome, welcome. You are in the 60s. I mean, to start, go back over there because you have a long career and you did a lot of things. We're going back so far. So you did wonderful, it's amazing. You were signed with Stewart Artists and Models. Tell us more about what you did on that.
Well, it's an interesting, a lot of serendipity in this part of the story. I was 18 years old. I came to New York, and I think it was a freshman in college, and a friend suggested that I go to this agency, this modeling agency, and I went up. I had no pictures or anything, and I went, and they said, you'd be right for this commercial that they're casting at Norman Craig and Cummel's. So they sent me over with nothing. And they put me with an actress by the name of Pamela Tiffin. She was just starting out at the time. She did a lot of film work and everything. And we went in for the audition, and the people said, "Perfect couple," and I got the gig.
My God, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so I was automatically, it was taped, so it was after, and then I joined SAG for $100.
Yeah, oh
so
my
I was in
God.
both unions when I was 17.
Wow.
18. Yeah.
Recently when the unions emerged, you didn't even have to pay $100.
That's right.
You could have just swung right in there. A free ride.
But I mean, in those days, that's what it, it was very reasonable in those days. It was but it was a great gig, and I would come to New York and do things. I was signed with an agency, a very good one, Stewart Artists. They were great. And it was, I mentioned before to Danny, I said it was like being at MGM Studios, not in the sense that it was a big movie studio, but we all got paid every week. We got 70% of our money, and they kept 30% in case the account would belly up or for your taxes. So it was a great thing, it was a great gig, and you could only work through Stewart, both the photography part of it and the talent part of it. You had to just work with that one agency. So I was fortunate enough to do commercials, and I did some industrial films, and it was a great run.
Yeah, you did a lot, and then you also formed your own production company. Tell us about that.
I did. Yeah. I met a guy who was also very talented in another area. He'd gone to Carnegie Tech and Yale, and he was a set designer and costumes and did all that kind of stuff, and he also had taken a business. So he was a really smart guy, and we formed our own production company, and we got work right away. We started working for the British Export Council. We did a big trade show for them at the Warwick Hotel here in New York.
Yeah, good.
That ran for about 2 weeks. In fact, we even got NBC came and interviewed us and did a thing on it. So it was really...
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Great.
You also worked with Merv Griffin, apparently. You did some game show and
I did. We met Merv, and he at that time, he had the nighttime show, which was done out in a little theater right next to Sardi's, but he also had his own production company. And at that time, he had the beginning. It was Jeopardy! Was just on the air. And they had another game show called Let's Play Post Office that was on, but they also had a development department.
Yes.
So we were brought in to work in the development department, which meant that people would bring in ideas, and we would work through the ideas, and then we would do presentations to the networks to see if we could get a pilot. So we fortunately worked on 2 or 3 things, and we went to pilot on them, and it was a great deal because we were able to use the little theater to do the pilots. So it was an internal thing. It's great.
Yeah, gee, Let's Play the Post Office. I don't know. They would have probably had a hit if they made it Let's Play Doctor and Nurse.
You're right.
That would have been better. or Doctor and Patient or Nurse and Patient. That would have been a better show. You also went to Mexico for DuPont Fibers, and you were in the fashion end of it. You did a promotional film. You went traveling by bus all over Acapulco. You even stayed at Merle Oberon's mansion, and you met Dolores Del Rio. Tell us about that. My God, what an adventure
you
had.
It was an adventure. Actually, we were working for Merv at the time, and we were working there, and I said, Merv, they've asked me to go to Mexico to do this thing. He said, well, why don't you take off and do it? So it was like a 2-month thing, believe it or not, 2 months at that time. And we traveled all over Mexico, and we did promotional still work, but we also did a film that was used as a promotional thing to promote DuPont fibers. We started off in Mexico City, we were in Cuernavaca, and we were in Tasco, and we ended up in Acapulco, and we traveled all over in this bus, you know, and we helped carry the equipment. In those days, that's what you did.
Yeah, that's what you did, sure.
And we stayed at a place called Las Brisas, which is a very fancy place in Acapulco. And Merle Oberon was like the hostess of Acapulco. In
she was so
years.
beautiful.
Oh my, how wonderful.
Magnificent
gorgeous
mansion.
woman.
Yes. Really beautiful. And we filmed there, and she was very gracious to us. And they had a party, and they invited the cast, all of us, to come to it. And it was a very interesting evening. We walked in, and walked over to Merle, and they were very good friends, she and Dolores Del Rio. She was sitting next to her.
Yeah.
And at that time, Dolores Del Rio was probably well into her 60s, probably in her late 60s.
Well, that's good for me now.
But she was beautiful.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
sure.
Really
Yeah.
quite, I mean, really lovely. And so it was a great experience. We would go dancing at the clubs. Sam Spiegel came with his yacht.
Yeah, oh my, how wonderful.
He took us, and, you know, I ended up dancing with an actress by the name of Samantha Egger, you know?
Yeah,
she
yeah,
was.
Samantha Egger,
yes,
Yes. Film work,
Yeah.
and we went on the yacht a number of times.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Wow, what a life.
It was a very exciting time to be in a place like Acapulco.